So I started submitting my photos to stock agencies in February 2013. It's now 8 years later, and these are my top tips for you if you're thinking of selling your photos as stock. They're in no particular order, and some are more important than others, so be sure to stick around for all of them. Tip number 1. Only sign up with the big agencies at first. So there are loads of stock agencies out there now, more than when I started. Back then there were quite a few as well, and at one point I was submitting to 12 different agencies. Then I read this book, The 80-20 Principle. If you're not familiar with the 80-20 rule, it basically says that 80% of your results will come from 20% of your effort. Applied to my line of work, I realized that I wasn't using my time efficiently because the majority of my sales were coming from just a few agencies. So that was Shutterstock, Fotolia, now part of Adobe, and iStock. I was wasting my time indexing my photos on all of these minor sites that didn't really give me any great results. Submitting to stock agencies is boring and it's time consuming. You want to spend most of your time creating photos and then focus on the agencies where the majority of customers will go to buy your images. Once you've built up a strong portfolio and you have a steady income, you can expand a bit and upload to some of the minor agencies as well, if that's what you want to do. In fact, if you end up having a really big portfolio with lots of quality images, agencies might actually start to approach you and offer to index all your photos for you because they're so keen to get your work on their site. That's happened to me twice. Tip number 2. Get big fast. Jump in the ocean and have a look at the fishes. Who's the boss? The great white or the clownfish? That's the reason why startups, tech companies especially, are obsessed with growth. If you're not growing, you're dying. Stock photography is no different. You want your portfolio to be a sledgehammer hitting that square in the face. You do that by uploading all the time. Upload, 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 upload. In my experience, you will not see any real money from this until you have at least 1,000 images, 1,000 quality images online. So you want to hit that number as quickly as possible to really kickstart the exponential growth of your portfolio. Tip number 3. There's a balance to be struck between quality and quantity. I would say that quantity is probably more important. Like I said in the previous tip, you want to grow your portfolio as quickly as possible and upload all the time. But you also need to upload quality photos that people actually want to buy. It's better to have lots of good images rather than having a few amazing or great images. I have some photos in my portfolio that I really love, that I'm really proud of, but I've never sold a single copy of them. I have candid snapshots I only submitted because I thought, hey, why not? That have become bestsellers. Tip number 4. This kind of relates to the previous one. Don't spend too much time editing. Create some presets that you like, some presets that sum up your style, or buy my presets, and just smack these on all your photos. Of course, a preset is not going to look great on every single image, but keep your adjustments to a minimum to save time. Tip number 5. Get your editing just right. Don't over edit. The same as tip number 4, yet different. Lots of different people buy stock photos, and they use them for all kinds of different things. To maximize your sales, you want your images to appeal to as many buyers as possible. If your shots are too processed, too saturated, too contrasty, they're only going to be useful to a handful of clients. Personally, I only do the bare minimum I need to do to make an image pop. See, that's the flip side to this. When buyers first see your photo, how are they going to see it? As a thumbnail, surrounded by thousands of other thumbnails. So you want to make sure that they notice your image by making it stand out as a thumbnail. So this is how I will usually edit an image. I will apply one of my favorite presets and then adjust various properties accordingly. I will play around with the tone curve to create contrast. I will add a little saturation. Make sure that skin tones are nice and warm. Maybe slightly yellow without looking like a Simpson. Perhaps I will change the white balance and tint slightly if there's certain elements in the shot that are universally known to be a particular color. I will emphasize this. For example, make green grass greener, make blue skies bluer. Tip number 6. Find your niche. This might be my most important tip. If you're new to photography, it's fun to run around and take pictures of everything you see, and I think you should do that. You should experiment with different styles and techniques to learn and grow as a photographer. But when you're submitting to stock agencies, your photos are competing with millions of other shots. And in order to get them noticed, you need to focus on a style of photography that you can do slightly better than the vast majority. A good place to start would be an unusual hobby or a unique skill that you have. Let's say maybe you're a woodworker. Take pictures of woodworking, table saws, and tools. Tip number 7. Don't expect your shots to pay for themselves. So one of my most popular photos is a shot of my girlfriend buttering some toast. I took this on a weekend away in a bed and breakfast we were staying in. Now, the earnings from this single image has covered the cost of this getaway 4 to 5 times over. I'm talking about the cost of travel, the stay at the B&B, and other expenses. 4 to 5 times. 4 to 5 times this money has been recouped by one single image over the course of 6 years. Alright? Stock photography is a slow burner. You can end up making a lot of money from this, but over time. It's very unlikely that someone will buy an exclusive license for your photo and pay a few $1,000s for it right after you upload it. So don't count on that. Don't spend loads of money on your production thinking that you'll earn the money back. Because you won't. Not straight away anyway. Don't travel to exotic locations. Don't hire professional models if you could just ask a friend. So this kind of ties in with the next tip. Tip number 8. Keep your costs low. Like I mentioned earlier, quantity is more important than quality. You need to create lots of images and not spend too much money on them. Ask your friends and family if they're happy to model for you. Content featuring real people is very popular as well, so this might be a more lucrative strategy than hiring models anyway. Use what you got. Don't spend money on props or equipment that you might not use. Here's a bonus tip. I know from first-hand experience that they actually do this on low to medium budget film productions. Usually I would just ask my models to bring a selection of clothes. But if you want some more jazzy options, you can buy clothes for your shoots, keep the tags on, keep the clothes fresh and clean, and when you're done, return it for a refund within the usual 2-week period that you're given. If you like that one and the other tips so far, please hit that like button below. Be much appreciated. Tip number 9. Get trendy. Shoot what sells. Most of the agencies will send out newsletters and write blog posts about what's selling at the moment and what kind of content people are looking for. Use this information as inspiration for what to shoot next. Watch adverts and popular media to see what's trendy. Keep up with the latest movies and popular shows. What kind of colors do they use? What's the overall mood? Very often the best picture winner at the Oscars, if it has a distinct style, it will have an influence on advertising and popular culture in general. Another thing you can do, and this could prove very profitable if you get it right, is start a new trend, or at least be one of the first to join a new trend. I owe my success to this. Back in 2013, stock photography was still kind of cheesy. You just had smiling people doing smiley things, not looking very natural. And this is what I wanted to do, because I thought, oh, this is what you do. This is how you do stock photography. This is what I gotta do. But I couldn't find any models to smile for me. So I just started taking pictures of my girlfriend going about her daily business, and by chance, I became one of the first photographers to do authentic lifestyle, which has been a major ongoing trend ever since. A lot of photographers think that everything has already been done in stock. This is especially a common misconception when talking about travel photography.
There's already 50,000 pictures of some tourist attraction. What's my chances of selling my picture of it?
Well, you update it. You update it in response to the times to be more of the moment. Tourists taking selfies? Been done. Now, in 2021, take pictures of tourists with face masks taking selfies. Keep up with the times. Tip number 10. Learn to keyword effectively. How do people find your images? By using keywords and search terms. You are allowed 50 keywords, but you definitely do not need to fill all of them. You have to try and be as objective as possible. Only use keywords that are relevant to your image and put the 7 most important ones first. Try to include some of them in your title as well. Use location keywords. This could dramatically increase your sales. Say you have a picture taken in a particular forest. It could be any forest. Most people wouldn't know by looking at it. Use keywords to specify exactly where it is, and you might get noticed by people looking for images of this exact location. By the way, if you're taking pictures of a very specific location and it happens to include private property, be sure to get a property release for it. Tip number 11. Get familiar with rejection reasons. Learn to think as a reviewer. This will save you a lot of time when you're editing. When you're looking at your pictures from a shoot and you're deciding which ones to edit and submit, be snappy and get rid of the unusable shots straight away. Out of focus shots, intellectual property or people you don't have model releases for, that are too time consuming to remove using the clone tool or whatever. Camera noise, blown out highlights. In fact, think about these things before you take any pictures. Make sure that people modeling for you aren't wearing clothes with trademarks and logos, etc. Tip number 12. K.I.S.S. K-I-S-S. I like to apply this to every aspect of my life, not just photography. Keep it simple, stupid. One of my all-time best-selling images is a shot of my hand opening the door to my freezer. If you have a look at my video where I reveal my top 10 selling images on Shutterstock, you will see a pattern. There's nothing extravagant or epically bombastic in that list. Some photographers will spend loads of time and money on a shoot. They'll hire a studio, they'll hire professional models, they will use smoke machines, they will get a trained monkey to pose with their models, they'll get another trained monkey to make the coffee. And at the end of the day, they might not sell a single image. It's great to have a vision and a concept in your mind of what you want to create, but don't overdo it. This is stock photography, not fine art. This is the fast food of photography. People buying stock just need something quick and simple, often to form part of a greater design they're working on or to fill a gap in their design. If they wanted a shot of a perfectly styled explorer walking through a misty jungle with a coffee-drinking monkey on their shoulder, they'd just hire a local photographer to do it, or depending on their budget, get Annie Leibovitz to do it. You know? Tip number 13. I may have touched on this already, but this bears repeating because it's so important. Upload all the time. At least twice a week, daily if you can. By default, a lot of stock sites will organize search results by date. You need to be at the top. You do that by uploading all the time. If you have a huge batch of images, or just a batch of any size really, split it up and upload it gradually. If you have 20 images, upload 4 a day over a 5-day period. My 14th and final tip, enjoy yourself. Have fun taking pictures and take pictures of something you enjoy. If you want to do this full time, you are now a free agent, you are your own boss. Enjoy it. You're gonna get a lot more sales that way too.